In this lesson, we're going to talk about adding integers. Now, some of you would probably be like, what's an integer? So let's talk about it. This would be a good time to take some notes in your math notebook. Integers are whole numbers that can be positive or negative. So, up to this point, we've worked with a lot of positive integers. Now we're going to start adding in our negative integers. So, again, this is probably a good time to pause the screen, take some notes. This is a really important concept because it's going to help you solve your problems. When you add integers, if you have a positive number and a positive number, you are going to get an even bigger positive number. This is probably what you've already been seeing the most up to this point in your math career. Lots of positive integers. But now we're going to add in negative integers. If you have a negative number and a negative number gets added to it, you're going to end up with a bigger negative number. And then we also have if you have a positive number and a negative number. This is the one that's going to follow a different rule. In both these other two cases up here, we are just adding our numbers together. But down here, when we have a positive number and a negative number, we actually find the difference. And if we remember, difference means that we are subtracting the numbers. And then we have to look which number is bigger. Was it the positive number or was it the negative number? Whichever one is bigger is what the symbol's going to be. So if the positive number was the bigger number of the two, it's going to be a positive answer. If the negative number was the bigger answer, then the answer will be negative. Let's take a look at some of the examples of these types. We're going to first talk about positive plus positive. Again, this is the skill that you've already been working on a lot in your math career. Some of the best strategies is always to line up your place values, making sure that you're adding the right numbers together. So, because both of these were positive numbers, we just get a bigger positive number for our answer. So, in this case, our answer is 17. If we have 23 plus 14, we're going to get a bigger positive number of 37. Again, it's always wise to show your work. I realize some of these problems you could probably say, oh, but I could just do it in my head. And you're right, on some of them, you probably could just do in your head. But when we do them in our head, that's when we tend to make some of our biggest mistakes in our problems. Just by taking the few seconds to write out your work, you're going to guarantee to get the right answer of 133. Positive positives, pretty easy. Let's now take a look at negative negative. Notice because we have a symbol here of the addition sign, we do need the parentheses around our problem to separate our two symbols. We have -6 and -9 because both of these are negative numbers. We're just combining them. Sometimes what you'll see to kind of help you with this is we could draw 6 minus signs. And because a plus sign means the word and, we could draw 9 plus sign or negative signs. Now, because they all showed negatives, all I was doing was I could count every single one of these and I would find out that I have 15 of them. And that is 15 negatives. So that would be our answer, -15. Remember, we're getting a bigger negative amount. So what you really can do, since they both are the same symbol, you can actually just add both these numbers together to come up with your answer. But again, because it was a negative 42 and a negative 37, we end up with a negative 79. We have 101 and we have 99. When we add them together, we end up with 200. But because they both were negatives, we end up with negative 200. So again, when you have a negative and a negative, you're going to get a bigger negative number. This is where it's a difference. We are going to actually just subtract our two amounts. We're not going to worry about the negative symbol right now. We're going to put the bigger number on top, and we're going to subtract the smaller amount. 12 minus 5 is 7. Now we have to look at which one was the bigger number, 5 or 12. 12 was our bigger number. Now we look and see what type of number it was. Is it positive or negative? And 12 is positive, so our answer is going to be positive. So we have just 7. Our next one, we're going to put our bigger number on top minus our smaller number, and we get 11. Now, 14 was our bigger number, and if you notice, the negative symbol's with it. So because 14 was negative and the bigger amount, our answer is negative. We have 31's the bigger number, 22 is the smaller number. We subtract them out. We get 9 as our answer. 31 was the bigger amount. 31 is positive, even though there's no symbol there. Anytime there's no symbol, it means it's positive. It has to have a negative symbol to be negative. So our answer is a positive 9. The next one, 19 is our bigger number. Minus 17 is a smaller number. We get 2. 19 was the bigger number, and it had the negative symbol with it, so our answer has to have a negative symbol with it. So we get negative 2. On this next page, it's mixed practice. It's going positive, positive, negative, negative, or negative and positive, or positive and negative. Pause the screen, then give it a resume it, just check and see if your answers are right. Welcome back. Okay, the first one, we have a negative and a negative. If it helps you even, you could even write N and N. That means we're just adding our two numbers together. 22 plus 13, we get 35. And because it was a negative and a negative, our answer is going to be negative. Now we have a positive and a negative. So we are finding the difference between them. And the 11, our bigger number, was negative, so our answer needs to be negative. We have a positive and a positive, so we just add those two together, and we will get a bigger positive number. We have a negative and a positive, so we need to find the difference between our bigger number and our smaller number. And our bigger number was positive, so our answer is positive. Keep practicing. You'll find lots of good integer lessons on iExcel. There's tons of worksheets out there and extra practice. Good luck. If you need help, reach out.